So last time I we made the text box work for the new system. So yeah, or basically for stateful widget, which required some unstable features like trait type alias, simple trait, and generic associated types for this. So if you so this is stateful widget essentially, and yeah, you need an associated widget type, and yeah, so that needs to be generic over the lifetime because you get a lifetime passed in, and the widget needs to have that same lifetime, and yeah, that's basically to make impletrate work with trait methods and yeah, with lifetimes. And this here is a bit ugly, but we have to do it here because the trait implementation um, needs to reference the state, and because there's a lifetime here, it can't do that directly. And doing this strangely seems to only work for uh, it works here, but doesn't seem to work if I do it in the trait. But yeah, I don't know. There might be a case where it wouldn't work generally, so you have to do it specifically here or something. So yeah, what I did now. So yeah, today I'm just going to show you an additional thing I did, which is basically just making the row work for this new system. And yeah, it's so right now the macro is called row widget, but I'll probably change that. Don't know to what exactly, but the reason it's not just row is because currently, yeah, I have a function called row, and I I'm not sure if I could have a widget, could have a macro with the same name, but if the macro references the function, it thought it was the macro basically, I think. So yeah, so right now it's called a row widget, but I'm not even sure whether the whole thing as one macro makes sense because maybe there needs to be some additional parameters than just the content. So yeah, so it might just be a function that takes content which you can construct with the list content macro, and then some additional parameters or something. Yeah, but yeah, so just to show you, I can now do cargo run dash dash example text box, but what I like to do is mold run, which is a new linker, uh, which is a lot faster than the standard linker, and calling mold dash run will just re I don't know, I think through environment variables or something, control all the invocations of this of the linker and replace it with mold. So yeah, mm, from what I've seen, it leads to some very quick builds in some cases, but I'm not. Yeah, it's hard to tell how much faster it really is. But seems to be quite fast. So yeah, now you can click between those and enter some stuff. So yeah, as you can see, one is expanded and one isn't. Uh, so yeah, in this case, it's just item, and you can pass in whether you want it to expand. Uh, so if I run this again, now they're both expanded. So yeah, right now this is a Boolean, but yeah, I'll change this to be a flex factor like it is in Flutter or a lot of other, like in Flexbox and CSS Grid as well. So you can have a flex factor, which is nice. Yeah. So the way this works is this is the function to construct it, but it's basically just I've changed it to flex content. The name, yeah, takes in one of those. You can macro is still called list content, and yeah, that gives you a widget. And the widget has this as its state, which is basically just content state plus which one is in focus. This still, like how focus will work, still needs, I think, a good bit of work in the future. And then it has just size and no expand size and stuff. Oh, cached. Do we need those? I'm actually not sure we need those, but we'll see. Yeah, probably we need them. So yeah. So the way this works is, so for build, it'll just construct, so each list content or flex content has an associated state, and state just has to have a new method to construct it. And what row does is on build, it first constructs an empty one and then calls update on itself. And in practice, what they usually do is like the item one. I think I've explained how the previous one worked at some point, but the item one, its state contains an option of the content, which, yeah, during build, because in the first pass of build, not all of them will be filled, because first the non-expanding ones are set, and then the expanding ones are set. So here, if in the first pass the expand ones uh, just add to the expand count, increment that, and so what that means is, yeah, so those are set, uh, those options to some, the other ones that don't expand, and then only in the next pass the other ones are set. But so after after measure, it is known that all of the options are some, but yeah, it's still a bit. Yeah, I'm not too comfortable with them still being options, but since in some cases the state could be allocated, like for iterators, the state will be a vec, I think, and since we don't want to allocate another vec at each end of build, yeah, so that's why we just leave them as options for now. But obviously, if there's state implemented wrong or something, that could lead to runtime crashes, which is suboptimal. So yeah, I might want different solutions at some point. I don't know. So one thing I was thinking about was some type that would allow you to, it would act like a vec of options, and then you could do a conversion and it would make it into a vec of just a type without option, but it would still be represented in memory like options. Uh, and but you'd know they're not options, and it would check them on conversion or something. But yeah, for now it's just options. I don't know. So yeah, and then for each pass you just here you have to unwrap the state, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, of course, what we could do is just ignore the whole widget if the state is none, but that's kind of worse because there's definitely something wrong this is not if this is none. So I prefer unwrap here. Uh, yeah. Otherwise, it works basically the same as previous as row worked previously. Yeah. Okay. So the flex content trait basically works by having an all method which gets passed in a handler, and the handler you can call widget on, pass it widget, and its state with an option, and whether it should expand. And yeah, all is basically just please call widget for all of the content. And yeah, and the then thing is just to combine them, which is what the macro uses. It just first uses an empty list and then calls it then on it for each element. Now, obviously, this is a bit unnecessary, but I think with compiler optimization, this should optimize out to be nothing. Uh, but I'm not quite sure. I should look at at this in Godbolt at some point, I think. Yeah, so basically that's how it works, and you combine just items with each other, and there will be right now it's not implemented yet, but there will be an iterator thing uh, for basically to replace loops or stuff for in the content. Uh, yeah, so there might also have to be a key system for within the iterator thing at some point. So the right thing gets associated with the right state. But yeah, I'll have to see what the best solution is there. But yeah, that's it for today. See ya.